Can we explore the issue of suffering?
What is suffering and how do we handle it? First of all, we must recognize suffering is always a subjective phenomenon. Second thing we have to recognize, let us divide all the suffering. First, you've got physical suffering, pangs of hunger. A thorn is nothing but a defense mechanism for your body. It's not a negative thing. When we analyze our own lives, if we live in affluent nations, we are well-to-do, we are well-fed, well-clothed, well-protected, and we are able to go to doctor and sort out our physical ailments, we seem to be okay as far as physical suffering is concerned. Human beings are dogged by another kind of suffering which is much more severe, and that is called mental suffering. Unfulfilled desires, frustrations, stresses continues to make our lives miserable. Mental health has become a major issue in modern affluent societies. With the poor people are just struggling to survive. It's physical suffering is the only thing they have to address. Physical suffering is the price you pay for having a body. Mental suffering comes out of unfulfilled desires, frustrated desires. What is the source of these desires? The root cause of mental suffering. So if we can just fulfill those desires, I think our mind will calm down. And that is what humanity tries to do. Desires keep multiplying. You lead a very frenzied lifestyle to fulfill desires. This is what Hinduism is saying. Our tradition is called dharma, addressing the human condition and resolving it. What is this desire? Where does it come from? Desires arise because you think something is missing in your system. We use ploys to fill a gap in our system through physical and mental activities. So the issue arises, why is there this hole? The reason is this. The desire you have is not for material wealth or material gain or worldly enjoyment. Recognize your essential nature as not this body, the mind, the ego, but the spirit, Atman. If you can not just believe in it, but actually experience that you are the spirit, you are Atman, desires drop off. You fill the hole. This is what every prophet did, actually experiencing it. We have to live with suffering, but how do we rise above it? First, recognize physical suffering as a defense mechanism, so don't vilify it. Second, fill that gap not through material gains, but actually experiencing yourself as a spirit. When you are in that state, when desires drop off, for the first time you are freed from being a slave of the world that you live in.
How can we detach from desires? Can we explore a little bit if there are any tools?
The only way you can overcome desires is to be vigilant. By being vigilant about our own desires and how they do not fill the gap, we can then rise above them, saying, this is not the thing that is going to solve my problem. Hinduism puts the emphasis on us to resolve our condition. You grow up, become mature.
It's not easy to be in the right state of mind in certain situations. So is there a rational response from Hinduism that helps people be mindful or vigilant to overcome desires?
I don't have a faith in God. I have faith in humanity. I don't underestimate what human beings will do or are continuing to do. A lot of human beings are maturing very fast, recognizing the limitation of trying to fulfill and recognize the importance of being satisfied. The Sanskrit word santosh, Hinduism said it, you have to be satisfied. They are learning this thing by themselves. It has to be organic. You have to go through the process. My attention is not on a God in heaven. This is called spiritual humanism. I have tremendous faith in humanity to resolve its own condition.
You talk about Ramakrishna and Ramanujacharya and Swami Vivekananda. How did they overcome their desires?
I believe in the theory of reincarnation. These individuals are already highly evolved personalities at birth. So for them, a lot of the desires did not arise even, like sexual desires. With the Ramakrishna, it never arose. With Swami Vivekananda, it only happened once. Ramana Maharshi had no sexual desire throughout, celibate. Adi Shankara had no sexual desires whatsoever, celibate. Christ was a celibate. So these people, I would say, are already highly evolved personalities over many lifetimes, and that is why they have easier task of overcoming the desires. We have to go through many lifetimes before we are able to become that mature and then easily discard desires.